Hey guys, it's Owen from Wrestling Inc. back with another wrestling news roundup. Without any further ado, let's get into today's biggest stories in the world of professional wrestling. Tony Khan says huge AEW signing sets up Friday's Rampage. Speculation continues to grow who the free agent walking through the forbidden door Tony Khan was referring to last Friday following AEW Rampage. In an interview with Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated, Tony Khan provided some more details regarding the signing, calling it huge and saying it would set up this week's episode of AEW Rampage. Quote, "It's a huge signing for us," Khan said. "I have created some debate about what it means to open the forbidden door, and that's what we are going to do on the show. The fans are going to get a great night of wrestling, and I hope everyone is surprised and comes back for the matches this sets up. It's going to be a big reveal on Dynamite. It sets up this week's Rampage and puts a lot of irons in our fire. We have created an environment in AEW where people routinely expect great wrestling matches, and we have the wrestlers to live up to those high expectations." Following last Friday's AEW Rampage, Tony Khan announced that Isaiah Cassidy would wrestle a new free agent signing on AEW Dynamite to determine who would qualify for the Face of the Revolution ladder match taking place at AEW Revolution. He would later elaborate that the signing would be the same person who Khan earlier said in the night would be walking through the forbidden door, a term usually used for talents from New Japan working in AEW or vice versa. Since then, several names on the free agent market, New Japan and even WWE, have been rumored as being the potential signing. Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter reported on Friday that free agent Keith Lee was either in talks or had already signed a deal with AEW, making him a potential candidate. Yesterday, AEW star Matt Hardy teased that Tony Khan bought out the rest of Jeff Hardy's 90-day non-compete clause, suggesting Hardy could be the surprise signee. All questions will be answered tonight on the next episode of AEW Dynamite. In addition to the signing, Hangman Page will defend the AEW World Championship against Lance Archer in a Texas death match, and the Inner Circle will have a mandatory meeting to discuss recent dissension within the group. WWE Raw draws record low primetime viewership for Sci-Fi episode. Monday's live WWE Raw drew an average of 1.387 million viewers on Sci-Fi, according to Nielsen via Showbuzz Daily. This is down 25.63% from last week's 1.865 million viewers for the post-Royal Rumble show on the USA Network. For this week's show, the first hour drew 1.376 million viewers, the second hour drew 1.449 million viewers, and the final hour drew 1.337 million viewers. Monday's Raw drew a 0.36 rating in the 18 to 49 key demographic. This is down 23.40% from last week's 0.47 key demo rating. Raw ranked number 3 for the night in the cable top 150 with the 0.36 rating in that key 18 to 49 demo. Raw ranked number 20 for the night in terms of viewership on cable. This week's Raw on Sci-Fi drew the lowest audience in show history for a primetime airing, but it was the first time since 2008 that Raw was bumped from the USA Network to Sci-Fi, so a significant drop was expected. The lowest viewership in overall show history came on August 25, 2008, when Raw was moved to 12:40 a.m. due to the US Open tennis and drew 483,000 viewers. The key demo rating is actually not the lowest for the show, as the December 6, 2021 episode drew a 0.35 key demo rating. Monday's Raw viewership was down 19.12% from the same week in 2021, while the 18 to 49 key demo rating was down 26.53% from the same week in 2021. The episode 1 year ago aired on the USA Network. Backstage updates on the WWE WrestleMania 38 card. WWE is reportedly looking for another top match for the WrestleMania 38 card. As we've noted, WWE had plans for Shane McMahon to work Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania 38, but those plans were nixed due to the heat he had coming out of the Royal Rumble. In an update, a new report from WrestleVotes on Twitter notes that Shane's match was going to be positioned near the top of the WrestleMania 38 card. Due to Shane being nixed from WrestleMania, WWE officials are now looking for a new major attraction match outside of the top title matches. Quote, "This goes without saying, but the WrestleMania card is still in complete flux. It's quite amazing," the report noted. A WrestleMania opponent for Shane McMahon was never confirmed, but it was rumored he was going to face Seth Rollins at one point, and word is that Shane had pitched a match against Austin Theory too. Shane versus current WWE champion Bobby Lashley was also rumoured at one point, but there's no word on if it would have been for the championship itself. WWE usually has most of the WrestleMania card figured out by now, as we're just 53 days away from the biggest show of the year. It's been reported that things are up in the air more than usual this year when it comes to plans for the grandest stage of them all. WrestleMania 38 takes place on Saturday, April 2nd and Sunday, April 3rd from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Two former WWE superstars teasing AEW debut on Dynamite. Free agent wrestlers Killer Kross, formerly known as Karrion Kross, and Scarlett Bordeaux might have accidentally let it slip that there are plans for them to appear on tonight's AEW Dynamite. Earlier in the week, the pro wrestling couple took part in an autograph signing where the host inquired if they were traveling to Atlantic City for Dynamite. The host could be heard saying, quote, "Maybe you'll be in Atlantic City, who knows?" While Kross brushed off the question by staring at the camera, Bordeaux could be heard responding, quote, "Oh, is that?" Kross then immediately looked at his fiancée, prompting her to break into laughter. As Bordeaux tried to hold back her laughter, Kross uttered the words "Holy SH, you know the rest," repeatedly. As reported earlier, AEW President Tony Khan has revealed that the quote huge signing debuting on Dynamite will also set up a storyline for this week's AEW Rampage. The new signee will be wrestling Isaiah Cassidy in the Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier. Besides Killer Kross and Scarlett Bordeaux, the likes of Keith Lee, Harry Smith, Gran Metalik, Lindsay Dorado, and Oney Lorcan are also free agents who could potentially debut for AEW. Former WWE superstars Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, and Buddy Murphy are also free agents. Dolph Ziggler crashes WWE NXT segment, possible matches in the works. Veteran WWE superstar Dolph Ziggler has arrived in NXT 2.0. As we've noted, Ziggler had a social media beef going on with NXT champion Bron Breakker for several weeks now. It's been teased that Ziggler may challenge Breakker for the championship in the near future. Last night's Vengeance Day Go Home show featured a championship summit hosted by Wade Barrett to promote next Tuesday's Vengeance Day title match between Breakker and Santos Escobar. While Escobar and Breakker were having words, the familiar music of Ziggler hit and out he came to a loud "Holy SHIT" chant from the crowd. Ziggler took a seat at the summit table and taunted Breakker, finally asking him who the hell he is. Breakker responded and said he's the NXT champion, the reason Ziggler came to NXT, and then he promised to deal with Ziggler once he's done with Escobar. Ziggler pointed to his many accolades in WWE but said he's never had the NXT championship. Fans chanted "triple threat" as Ziggler continued to taunt Breakker. This time it was the music of Tommaso Ciampa that hit for the big pop. Ciampa had words with Ziggler until Escobar interrupted with jabs at Ziggler, Breakker, and Ciampa. The Legado del Fantasma leader promised to deal with Ziggler and Ciampa once he becomes NXT champion next Tuesday. Ciampa warned Escobar about interrupting him again and turned to Breakker to remind him who is next in line for a title shot after Escobar unless Mr. Ziggler has a problem with that. This is when Ziggler took more verbal shots at Ciampa until Ciampa decked him with a big punch, knocking him out of his chair to a big pop. Ciampa and Ziggler then brawled to the ringside area and to the back as Legado del Fantasma jumped Breakker in the ring. Breakker ended up fighting them off, but the segment ended with Wilder and Mendoza putting him through a table while Escobar watched. There's no word yet on if WWE is planning Ziggler vs Breakker or perhaps a multi-man match with Ciampa and Escobar added in, but we will keep you updated. Matt Hardy teases Tony Khan may have bought out Jeff Hardy's WWE contract. Since Friday night's episode of AEW Rampage, speculation has run rampant about an upcoming announcement on AEW Dynamite that will see a brand new signee make their debut and challenge Isaiah Cassidy in a Face of the Revolution ladder match qualifier. One name that has been floated around as a potential new AEW star is Matt Hardy's older brother Jeff Hardy, who was released from WWE in December under controversial circumstances. On his Twitch stream, Matt Hardy suggested that Jeff Hardy would not be the guy to wrestle Cassidy, who is currently aligned with Matt Hardy in the AHFO. He quickly, however, clarified that it wasn't out of the realm of possibility. Quote, "As far as an update on Jeff and what's going on, I don't think he's the guy that's coming in this Wednesday against Isaiah Cassidy," Hardy said. "Although who knows, Tony Khan, Papa Khan's got a lot of money. Maybe he bought out his contract, and maybe it is happening early. Who knows?" So what are your thoughts on the stories covered in today's Wrestling News Roundup? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to like and subscribe to Wrestling Inc. and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.